You're my girl. You're the type of woman to make a man get right. You're my world.
Hello, everybody. What's up, everyone?
Hello.
Although I don't think you can see us, so let me find out what that is.
Oh, no.
You can hear our voices, though, for sure.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Jalen,
And I'm Casey.
and welcome to the
There
Jalen
we-
and Casey Show.
there we go.
See, we figured it out. How's everybody doing today? Happy Monday morning. Over here where we live, it is snowy outside.
Very snow. Well, not
Very cold.
very cold.
Snow's on the ground.
There's some ice out there.
Yeah, some ice. There's some snow, and it's pretty cold.
It feels like it's been forever since we've done a live.
Yeah, only 1 week though.
Only 1 week. Well, we did one live last week, and it
that
feels
was
like a
exactly
month.
1 week ago. Yeah.
It feels like a month.
Yeah.
But here we are. Good
We're
morning
back.
or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be or whatever time you may be watching this. I know we have some international viewers out there.
Yeah. Let us know where you're watching from, what time it is where you're watching from. We'd love to know that. So you want to go over our
Yes, let's go over
to
let's go over our super chat goal.
Mhm.
Our super chat goal for today is it whoever does the most or whoever does the super chat?
No, whoever does super chat. Well, about this by super chatting, you can select our next topic for
Okay.
discussion. Today's topic is actually a super chat discussion, courtesy of Cozy Crochet. And Cozy Crochet is in chat. Say hey, Cozy. And we're talking about finances today in
Yay.
marriage. So if you want to select our next topic, go ahead and super chat. It is up to our discretion to refuse it if it's something crazy.
Absolutely.
But, we tend to think that if you're going to go through work at super chatting, you're not going to throw money away to troll.
I don't know.
So.
Some people might.
And so thank you. for
People
the money,
gotta like
but we reserve the
It's all
right to
good.
that, do the topic. But yeah, super chat in the amount for the topic. And if you're on Facebook, that's stars. If you're on TikTok, that's whatever TikTok roses and things like that. So that's what we're doing today. But welcome back. Thank you for being here. We should have a normal schedule this week of
We
live
should.
streaming.
We should. But let's talk about our podcast sponsor Audible.
Yes.
Audible is a very cool way to read books if you don't like reading because it's an Audible book. It's an audio book. I know for us, we love audio books. We do a lot of that when we're taking road trips, especially. But it's a good way, especially as a couple, if you're trying to stay on the same page, no pun intended. Audible is a great way, but Audible has given our viewers, our listeners, a free trial. Just go to audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey, and you can get a free trial of Audible for 30 days. I think that's really good. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this podcast. Also, let's talk about our channel memberships because we are still growing over here. Our goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers. We're almost there, but not quite. We need y'all help. For those of you who are lurking in the atmosphere, not yet committed to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. It won't hurt you. It won't harm you. It'll actually help you.
Yeah, we think so. Channel membership. So we got some channel memberships available for you. $2.99 level is called Family Friend. If you become a channel member at the $2.99 level, you get access to cool badges and emojis you can use in the chat. And we know you're there. You're always highlighted. And shout out to our current people. We got Ashanti Activities. We got Super King Zell and 7. And there's one more. I'll pull that up in a second. But thank you to all of our current family friends and also second level Marriage U subscribers. All right. So if you do that, you get access to all of our premium contents. We got a lot of stuff in there, such as Age Gap Marriage Survival Guide, Overcome the Spirit of Depression, That's Pornography, God Make Me a Wife, and all of our virtual live events, including Reigniting Intimacy in Marriage. So those are the two channel membership levels. Prices may vary where you are. But again, shout out to our current channel members, Super King Zell and 7, Joy 3 Grace, and Ashanti Activities. We love you guys. And we do appreciate your support of the channel. It
Amen.
makes a difference.
It really, really does.
So you know the drill. Let us know where you're watching from. Oh, let me know your city because I'm going to do a little, as part of our discussion today, I'm going to do a little activity. And I need to know your city so that you can volunteer your city for the help of this activity. It's nothing bad at all. It's just a little bit of fun. But I need to know your actual city, where you live, that you're watching from, so that I can utilize it for this little activity we're going to do that has to do with finances and marriage.
Wow, this is a surprise.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I just thought of it like right before we went on. So it'll be
Okay.
cool. But I just want, if you don't drop your city, I have to use my city, which is fine because it'll still work. But I just thought it'd be fun if I can do it using your city so that, you guys are interacting and all that. I think that'll be cool. So let's
Fun
get into
stuff.
that.
So we're talking about money,
Yeah.
finances in marriage, which is very hot topic-y because believe it or not, one of the top reasons people get divorced is over finances, amongst other things, of course, but finances is usually underlining a lot of people issues and problems. And, well, I'll talk about that in Hot Topics, but there are a lot of statistics about finances and relationships. So we're going to talk about that because the question was like, how do we handle our finances?
Yeah, how do you navigate finances in marriage? And, you know, we talk about our newlywed struggles. Our biggest issue was communication. But what do we spend a lot of time communicating about? Finances.
Yes.
And if you were to go back and watch, we had a playlist on our story. We talked about how when we got engaged, getting married, the thing that was on my mind the most was money. The thing that was on my mind the most was finances, you know. And so we're going to go through, we're going to tell a little bit of our story just for the fun of it. And it also help. And then we'll talk about some principles we think that are very important when navigating finances. But shout out to the active chat right now. We got Cozy in the chat. Saying good morning.
Good morning.
We got Travis. Hey, Travis, in the chat.
Hey,
saying,
Travis.
What's up? He's shout out Newport News, Virginia as a city. And then we got, and excuse me if I get this wrong, either Zenaida or Zenaida, I apologize, from New Jersey. What city? I've got family from New Jersey. My family comes from Camden, so I'm interested to know what city of New Jersey. But yeah, if you let us know your city, because again, there's going to be a little activity later, and I definitely want to use somebody's city. I'll pick one based from you guys. All right, so let's get into it. So we were getting married, going on our story a little bit.
We were broke, just to say.
Yeah. So it's funny. We just talked about it because was it yesterday? Was Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yesterday was the anniversary of the start of me and Casey's relationship.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We won't go through the whole story, but if you watch this video on our channel called "How We Started Dating," yeah, that's the video. We tell the story of how you found out that I had went to your dad about you, and I hadn't told you that I had because I wasn't ready yet. And but he told you, and you called me. This all happened on a Sunday. So you called me, and I am literally watching a Super Bowl, because it was a Super Bowl, and ironing clothes for my first day of work. I was entering the workplace, my first real
I had
job.
to get you while you was fresh, bro.
And so I'm ironing clothes, and I see my phone's ringing. It's Casey. Not abnormal. We're friends. We work together in the ministry. It could have been anything she was calling me for. So I answered. I'm not thinking about earlier today where you were about to confess your love for me, and I told you not to say nothing. But I answered the phone, and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me you talked to my dad about me?" And I just froze. I was like,
No, you said I don't know if I can talk about
I
this.
was about to get to that. I was like, I don't know if I can talk.
And hung up on me.
I didn't go that fast.
And hung up on me.
I didn't go that fast.
But you hung up on me though.
Okay, I think I said goodbye or
No, you hung up on me.
I didn't. It wasn't like
Click, click.
evil. It was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say right now because I'm trying to make sure I do everything above board, do this properly. I've never done this before. It's my first time getting married, you know. So I hang up. I don't know if my mom was like in the other room and heard it or if I told her, but she was like, she went and called you right after that. And so y'all are talking, and I'm just like, this blew up my whole plan. I was like, I'm gonna work a few years, stack some money up. Whole plan went out the window. So that was my first job, and I had been hired at $10 an hour at that job. And that Wednesday was the first time we saw each other in person, and our relationship officially started.
Yeah.
But so this is my first week on the job, and whirlwind of things. But I'm like, okay, you know, going to build up. Going to get things going and all that, and things just move really fast. We got married in September of the following year.
We did, but the thing about finances, it kind of goes along with you come from two different cultures.
Yes,
you know, we came from two different cultures of how we handle our money. Especially, I mean, and it's very drastically different. You know, I grew up, my dad took very good care of his girls, but I was very entrepreneurial. I had my own business ever since I was 21. I've been working for my own money. I got my own car. You know, I pay my own bills. I do all the things. I had debt too, something that I didn't want to bring in marriage, but unfortunately I had debt. But when we got married, one of our biggest issues for me was really just trusting someone else with my money. The idea of submission in this area was a little sketch for me, even though I knew that being submitted was part of the process and things like that. But it was a little sketch for me because I was like, how am I going to submit to him? I don't really know how he handles money, you know, because you didn't have much money.
Yeah, I mean,
at all.
I literally was just starting out.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even say that was a bad thing for you to wonder about,
Yeah.
you know, because, I mean, we'll put it like this. From the biblical standpoint, you know, I was a tither and a giver. It was like I had never had any income. There are things I had done before, jobs I had done before, you know, I worked with my dad and things like that. But this was kind of just my first steady 9-to-5 ongoing job. And I specifically got it because I knew I was looking to build a life and get a place to live, move out of my parents'
And
house.
your girl likes
get
to
married,
eat.
you know, and all that. So I was okay, it's time for me to build something. So I just escalated like, okay, I'm going to specifically do some things. And so, you know, it was fresh starting out and all that. And that's fine. You know, we're proponents of people getting married pretty early, you know, not like, you know, before you're ready, but not wasting a whole lot of time. So one thing I want you to take from this is that you got to have everything together, because we didn't have everything together. I didn't have everything together. And I think some things you figure out best when you're figuring it out together rather than trying to do it all by yourself and bring someone in on it. And, you know, that varies depending on the situation. But I don't tell people, hey, hang up because you ain't got enough money. I wish I could go back to myself and just kind of hold myself by the shoulders and be like, Jalen, it's okay. Y'all going to figure this out. Just go for it. You know,
I think the biggest thing in entering to marriage is transparency.
Yeah.
You know, when you're about to enter into a relationship like marriage, you should know the other person's financial situation. Mm-hmm. Don't bring surprises. If you have a bunch of debt, please tell your spouse. Okay. It's nothing worse than someone finding out, I didn't know they had this debt. They got all these student loans. They have all this stuff. Yeah. Or if it's because that can build mistrust.
That's about as bad as finding out someone got a secret child somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
It's about as bad as that.
It is. So before we got married, we sat down. I told him, I said, hey, I got this debt, this credit card. Most of my stuff was like credit card, business related stuff. You didn't have any debt when we came in. You had a small car payment when we first got married. But I had a car payment. I had business debt. Just credit card stuff. And I felt kind of bad about it, but he knew about it. And the good thing about him, he was like, look, this is our debt now. Oh, yeah. You know, this is ours, not just yours anymore. But when it came to money, but again, because I had my way of finagling my finances, he had a way he wanted to do things. Letting go and relinquishing of my way was really the most challenging part. And now that I wouldn't lie to you about how much money I made, but it was like, well, I'm just going to put some aside for a rainy day, just in case. You never know. I'm going to put it in this corner, and I'm going to let you know when I'm ready. That was kind of how it was when we first got married. And you are more of the giver of our relationship. We both give, but you give recklessly. And that's how I would describe you. And I am more of the saver person. So you got to also figure out what personality are you when it comes to money. Yeah.
So all right, so I like lists and I like, you know, letters and like that. So first word for finances in marriage is finding out.
Yeah.
Okay, finding out. So number one, the first F is finding out. So you just said it, but let's do a discovery process before you get married. And you may say, well, we're already married. All right, well, now it's time to find out. What do we got going on? Let's look at it. What's in the past? What stuff has been charged off that you don't think they're going to come back after you for, but they might come back after you for, what's affecting your credit and all that, because you got to find out, and it's going to lead into the second thing, but you got to find this out. You got to get yourself a picture of what are our finances right now. And if you don't talk about it, you're never going to find out. And there's a lot of shame that could be attached to it, because here's the thing, and we're going from this perspective is because 90% of people in the world are in a financial position they don't want to be in. And I want to help you get the weight off your mind and say it's not your fault. You might be like, well, it's my fault because I made a decision, that decision. Let me explain something to you. And I'm not a person that says take responsibility off yourself and blame the man, blame the world. But I just want to help you get a proper mindset on this. There are corporations that spend billions of dollars. And of those billions, they'll spend thousands, and maybe millions on marketing just to get you to do something with your money that's probably not good for your financial health. Whether it's the credit card companies, whether it's the car companies,
mortgage companies,
stuff like that. Their job, there are people dedicated, entire departments with $1 million budgets trying to figure out how to get people who don't need to be spending this money to spend the money with them, because their mindset is somebody's getting this money, it might as well be us. And so they go out of their way to get it from you. So if you made a bad decision, you opened a credit card you shouldn't have opened, you bought someone on Amazon you shouldn't have bought, you hopped into signing a lease on something, a mortgage on something that you shouldn't have done, Get over the guilt of it. Yes, you made the decision. Maybe you shouldn't have, but understand that you were fighting against psychological warfare.
Well, we're told that debt is good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong. It's the American dream. If, you know, to have some debt. You know, everybody has debt.
Yeah.
You should be in debt. You know, use our money, not yours.
Yep.
You know, so debt is sold to us like it's a good thing.
Yep.
So, like you said, don't blame yourself. We all have done it. I know for me, I can tell you the day I went into debt. I can tell you. I started my business, like I said, I was 21, green behind the ears, had no clue what I was doing, and I'm in the beauty industry. And my very first credit card was a MasterCard. And that MasterCard had a $500 limit on it. And this is in the early 2000s, okay? So that credit card was designed for business purchases, you know, for big ticket items. But the idea was to pay it off at the end of every month, never have a balance on it. And I did that so well the first year and a half so of my business. And I can remember, I don't know what it was. I think I was going for like a class. I wanted to go to a class, something like that. And I said, well, let me put it on the card. Let me charge it. And then when the bill came, there was something else that I wanted to do. And I said, well, let me just pay the minimum balance this month only. And then I'll catch up the next month and pay everything off. It's like the moment I made that decision, snowball of situations and things just started happening. And it seemed like I just could not catch up and make the full payment. Understand, I'm new in business. My clientele wasn't that big at the time. So, and you know, being in the beauty industry, you know, income fluctuates a lot. So I just started making minimum payments and I could not catch up. And that interest was so high. I don't remember what the interest was back then, but you know, interest occur. And I just never caught up. And then, but because I was still paying the bill on time, they raised my limit to $1,000. And then eventually I qualified for a visa and it just cascaded. And then I found myself taking that balance, transferring to another card. And, you know, it just became this cycle that I could never break. And then I might have had a little bit of a spending habit at Dress Barn. If you know, listen, y'all know, okay. If you know about Dress Barn, they had a debit card for the store. I forget what they call a charge card for the store, and I literally had like every outfit that store ever sold. And I remember I maxed out that card, and that was a whole thing. I was so glad when I paid that one off. I had to cut that card up, but yeah, I mean, it was just like, I don't know if most people go into debt with the intention to not pay it. It just get away from you.
No, I mean, that's what happens.
Like situations happen because we don't plan for situations like losing your job, or if you're in business for yourself, having a low income month or stuff like that, because we're not really taught how to plan for the future.
Yeah.
And like you said, they just give you credit. Oh, you going to school, you're 18, you're an adult, let's get you some credit.
And see, again, the whole marketing thing. They're marketing to you, so you just assume everyone else is doing it. This must be the way to do it. But no one's marketing to you how to save. No one's marketing to you how to invest. You got to go search that information out, you know, but it's being marketed to you to do these other things that aren't necessarily good for you. Just like there's advertisements for food that's not good for you. It's the same thing with money decisions. So don't waste a whole lot of time feeling bad. So when you're getting together in marriage, y'all kind of say, okay, look, no judgment here. We're going to lay it out.
Yeah.
We're just going to lay it out. I'm going to tell you the truth. You're going to tell me the truth. We're going to lay everything out. We're not going to freak out. It is what it is because we're here now. So let's find out. So lay everything out, no judgment, write it down, and then say, okay, total it up. This is our debt. This is what we're doing, things like that. So now that you have found out, now you got to say, okay, what is our goal?
What is the goal?
What's our vision?
Yeah.
All right. The second half of finding out is find out what is the vision. Where do we want to go?
Amen.
Where do we fiscally want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years? What is the plan? Is it simple as just get out of debt? As simple as creating savings, emergency fund? There's certain things like we want to get into business, we want to launch this, we want to buy a home, but a certain way we want to do it. Lay it out, because if you don't have the plan, you're not going to get it done. Like that's just
and that's so important because, again, talking about us, we're very different in how we want to pursue the plan.
Yeah.
You know, you are a person like, give me a can of beans and I'm good. We can survive.
Yeah.
Me, no, I like the little luxuries of life. And I think for me, I had to really get over myself in the things that I wanted it and how I wanted it, because when we first got married, I had this car And I'm not going to even get into my car stories because that's a whole nother podcast. But I had a car. I had a VW Passat, and that was like one of my goal cars. I had goals for my cars, and man, I wish I could tell you all this story. But anyway, that car was expensive. Not only was it expensive monthly payments, but the upkeep of that car was very expensive, and oh man, it was a lot. And you originally came to me and was like, I think we should sell your car. I was like, we're not doing that. And because his car, he had a 2001 Honda Civic. And that car had literally no luxuries whatsoever. It didn't have power windows. You had to manually roll the windows down. It had a tape deck, y'all. A tape deck. Nope. That car was just so basic. And long story short, we had a flood in our apartment. The first couple of months of us living in our apartment together, right after getting married, we had a flood in our community. Apparently, the first time this complex ever had a flood. My car got totaled in the flood. I was upside down on that loan, which was terrible. But your car, the water came all the way up to the parking brake in his car. That little tuna can started up the very next, like after a few days after the water had rescinded and everything.
It started up the next day.
It started up, and I was so mad. I was so pissed off. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was so pissed off that car started blowing out blue smoke, but that Jane was like, I'm still here. And that car ran for another good year and some change after that flood. But my car was just gone, and I still had payments on that Jane. Yep. It was terrible.
Yep. So... Oh yeah. So after you found out, you got to figure it out.
Yes.
Okay. And you just mentioned, I'm going to go back to that, what you mentioned about the differences in us. Me can't beans, you having little luxuries and things like that. And you mentioned your car was a good example of that. So you got to figure it out. That's the next F. Figure it out. And here's what I mean by that. If you have the goal, whatever that goal may be, now you got to figure out how you're going to meet it. And here's what happens. You have one person who's a spender, one person who's a saver, one person who is a giver, one person who holds very tight, and typically those people marry each other. And so what happens is y'all got the same goal, but how you want to get there is going to differ.
Yep.
And you're probably going to have friction because the person who is the more financially responsible, at least appears that way, is going to feel like the other person isn't taking it seriously because they're not as extreme as they are. All right. So as the person who came off as the more physically responsible, and I say came off because at the end of the day, I wasn't doing any better with money than she was.
No.
But because one thing was I was not a very good saver. Like I said, I was a giver and I was cheap, but that didn't mean that I knew how to actually save money. She actually was a better saver, even though she was more of a spender than I was and wasn't as cheap as I was. So when I say figure it out, y'all got to determine the pluses and minuses and the pros and cons of everybody's personalities. All right. You got to figure out how to properly utilize everyone's skill set to the best of your ability. Then you got to figure out where you're going to compromise on, because at the end of the day, all that matters is reaching the goal, and how fast or how slow you get there will be determined by the compromises you make. But you also got to come into agreement, because at the end of the day, the fastest way to get to your financial goal is y'all working together.
Amen. Agreement is
very,
key.
very closely.
Yep.
The fastest way to get there is if you're working together. The fastest way to get there is not to defer to the person who's trying to move the fastest, because you're just going to have friction.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
You're going to have offense.
Yeah.
And people are going to be unhappy. Y'all got to come into agreement. Y'all got to meet in the middle. That's how you're going to get there the fastest. Not by trying to force and browbeat the other person to doing it your way because you feel like I'm the most responsible and I'm trying to get there the fastest. That's not the fastest way to get there. Y'all, you won't have longevity doing that. You may get like a good acceleration, but you won't have momentum to keep you going, and you'll fall off a cliff. And then it's like, okay, well, we can't stick to a budget. All right. It's better to stick to a budget that allows for the person who likes to spend to have some play money, to have some kind of luxury, so that they stay content in this process, than to try to remove that and say we can get there faster if we don't have any play money. Because if you go with that route, that friction is going to cause damage to the marriage, damage to y'all intimacy, and eventually y'all won't be able to keep that up.
Yeah.
And you think, well, mathematically we'll get there fast. A lot is psychological. A lot of this is psychological. And if you're miserable the entire time you're trying to do this, you're less likely to actually make it to the finish line. So although it may seem slower to allow in some room for spending, to allow in some room for fun and play and things like that, if it keeps the psychology of the home steady, that will actually give you the longevity you need to actually reach the goal.
That's really good because we said, you were more extreme on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first idea you came to me about, this extreme budget idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, I can't do that.
I was frustrated at first because I was like, if we do this, we buckle down a couple years, we'll be out and it'll work. So I'm saying everything I'm saying as the more extreme person, realizing that wasn't working. Okay. So if you're the extreme person, I'm looking at you right now, you're thinking, if we just do it my way, we'll get done faster. They should just listen to me. I promise you it's not going to work. Because even if you drug them across the finish line, if y'all don't do it as partners, you will never build the camaraderie and the mutual respect that comes from it.
Yeah.
See, the compromises that she made, the compromises that I made in this process helped us to respect each other. It built a camaraderie for us being in this together and allowed me to see her point of view. I am much, much more into luxury now because of her.
I would say bougie. This man is now bougie.
Well, I realized how important comfort is for a long ride.
Yes.
This is a good example. We went on a plane ride the first time together. All right. And this is your first time ever on a plane, but it's our first one together. On the way forward and back, different flights and all kind of stuff. One of the times we sat all the way in the back because of just the time we got the tickets.
I do not suggest doing that.
Another time we sat more to the middle, front, wherever. It was two very different experiences. It was the same amount of time for the ride, going the same distance back and forth home, but it was a very different experience depending on your comfort level. It was far less comfortable, far less comfortable sitting in the back, a little more nerve-wracking sitting, but you could feel every rattle of everything. It was much more comfortable.
I smelled smoke. I smelled the smoke from the engines. It was smoke. I smelled smoke. You were next to the toilet. It was just a lot of up and down. Yeah. You felt every bump, everything. But when that second flight coming back home, it was way smoother. Yeah. Like you hardly felt anything. Yeah. So that's kind of how it is when you make those proper compromises. Yeah. You set goals for your saving. And like, if your thing is, I like to eat out, I like to go to a nice restaurant, you save. In our church, our pastor taught us how to budget. Yeah. Like, make envelopes. Yeah. This envelope is for going out to eat. And we're going to save that money just for that. So you have a goal. And also, if you learn to properly compromise with one another, it'll make, maybe like me, the spouse that like a little more luxury, more willing to participate. And you'll be surprised of what you were. You were surprised what I was willing to do because you was willing to compromise for the things that I enjoyed.
I heard you, and I found out that you were way more reasonable than maybe I thought at first. Yeah. It's okay, wow, you're willing to sacrifice more things than I thought, And as part of figuring that out, what I ended up figuring out as we were communicating on this journey is that she is actually better with money than I am.
Ding.
Her saving ability is pretty keen, and she always has money.
Always.
And she be finding money like, oh, where does money come from? Like, but she always has money.
Always.
If I kept all the money in my hands to control, like, yeah, I'm the man, I'm providing, I'm making the most money coming into the household, and I'm providing, and it's in the account. And of course, she has access to the account, but it's like I'm doing a budget because she doesn't like having to think about bills, right? She doesn't want to think about it. So if the money's there, I mean, she wants to think about it. If the money's not there, she wants to know. But I'm saying, like, if everything's flowing, it's like, just, hey, put what needs to be paid. I'm good at keeping track of this needs to be paid on this day, that kind of stuff. Whether it's auto pay, whether it's logging in, I'm good with all that. So I can handle all that stuff. But what I realized was that if there was extra money, like, okay, this is money for date night, this is money for miscellaneous, this is money we're setting aside for like emergency fund, I'll have a tendency to just leave it in the account because that was just the way I did. And as things would happen, it would end up getting eaten into because I didn't really plan properly for it. Something would come up and I'm like, well, the money's technically there. Let's go ahead and do that because I wasn't good at separating it out. And as long as it was in my hands, even if I had it in an envelope, if I suddenly felt like, you know what, I want to give something today in church or something like that, or something's going on, I would just say, well, here's money. I'm going to take it from here and do that without communicating what was going on or it was in my hands, so I would just go do it. So I realized, okay, this isn't working. So we came up with a new system. I said, okay, I'm still bringing all the money in because I'm the one out in the workplace doing that. And we still have the account where, bills are being paid, things like that. But the money that's set aside for date nights, emergency fund, savings, stuff for our son, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff, grocery and things like that, I started giving it to her. I said, here you go. Here's the money. It's the budget we agreed on together. We at some point we came together and created a budget. So she knew what the amounts were. I wasn't determining the amounts myself. We were determining it together. But now I'm taking the money and putting it directly into her hands and saying, you keep it out of my sight.
Yeah, I would like to explain it this way. It's like an external financial function, and then there's internal financial function. You are more better at the external stuff, like the mortgage payment and stuff, like making sure things are getting paid on time, things of that nature. I am more the internal financial seer of the house, what makes the house run smoothly. And so I handle all of that, and I save.
Yes.
I'm the one responsible for the household savings. And because I am good at that, we've had savings, and you're like, when do we get that money? Like, don't worry about it, and our household finances have run so much smoothly once we, worked out the strengths of our abilities. And it took a lot of pressure off for you, took a lot of pressure off for me, because what I didn't like was I knew how much money you got paid. And yes, I had access to the account, but never really knowing how much money we had all the time. I just saw you spending and putting stuff, doing things or giving a certain way. And then when I request something, you're like, oh, we don't have the money for that. I'm like, what do you mean? We ain't got the money for that. I just saw the paycheck and this happened. And then I gave this over here and blah. I'm like, okay. And again, it wasn't that I didn't have access, but it's just not having the communication, the visibility and the communication about how the money was being used. So we had to stop doing it that way and break down. So I literally brought a money binder for the house, categorized everything. He brings me the money. I put it where it's supposed to be. I give him an allowance, because another thing was he never would have money in his pocket. I'm like, man, you gotta have some money in your pocket, because if you want to buy me something, you ain't got no money. So I would give him an allowance, and it just works so smooth for us. And we figured it out. Yeah. And I'm no longer in the dark. I lost that anxiety of like, I don't know how much money we got. I don't know if we can and can't do stuff, because I'm a planner. I like to plan for projects for the house.
And so what happened is she'd have an idea like, we should just go take a day trip here and do this. And I'm thinking, okay, is there enough money put aside for that? And there should be enough money put aside for that. But I wasn't that good at just keeping track of it and saving it and making sure that if it was designated for this, it stayed designated for this. I just was not good at that. I still don't think I'm good at that. So a part of figuring it out is finding out who is good at that and letting them do that part. Okay. Sometimes we'll have this thing where for men where it's like, okay, well, I'm the man, I'm supposed to take care of everything and stuff like that. Okay. That when we start talking about who the head of the household is and leadership and all that, when we start getting into the logistics of like the day-to-day management of the household, y'all divvy that up based on who's on people's skill level.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The CEO does not handle the accounting. Okay. Like it doesn't make you any less of the leader because your wife is better with money. If she's better with money, be a good leader enough to know, okay, the money should be in your hands. All right. So now when you would have an idea of something you wanted to do, instead of you saying, hey, we should do this, and I'm thinking, nah, I disappoint her because I don't even think we got the money for that. Now you would have an idea. You would know what's there. And you come to me and say, hey, look, I think we should do this. And here's the money to do it. And let's go do it. And that takes the pressure off of me. Now I can continue to focus on long-range vision, long-range mission of the things that I want this family to do in business and in life without concerning myself with those details. You just say, hey, I think I want to go do this. Cool, let's go do it. Let's go do it. Or I have an idea. I want to take you on a date somewhere. I want to go eat dinner here. How much do we got enough date night money for you? Like, yeah, well, let's go do it.
Yeah, so here are some categories. I should have brought the book down so I can just say it, but some categories to have if you're having a house budget. One, you make sure that your main stuff is taken care of. Your mortgage or your rent, utilities, and utilities will include, your cell phone, gas, electric, all those type of stuff. But groceries, top number one, you give me the bulk of the grocery money for the whole entire month. Okay. And then I know how to shop and I know how much of that money we're going to use weekly. All right. So this takes a little work, but it's not that difficult when you figure out, okay, this is how much money I can spend in a week and make it last for the entire month. And then we have date night category because we like to go out to a movie, eat whatever, date night. And then we have childcare as well. So we pay the grandparents or somebody to keep our son. Then we have emergencies. Another thing that was really key for us, because stuff happens, car breakdown, you need new tires, oil change, stuff just happens. Or that one time where our dishwasher broke, and washing dishes without a dishwasher is now luxury. Like, we need a dishwasher, okay? But we had the money to pay cash for a dishwasher. What's another category we have? And then miscellaneous.
Yeah.
You know, every now and then you want to order a pizza, buy some Chinese, whatever, and you don't have to take that from the main general account. You have a category just for miscellaneous. So you don't feel like you're just drawing this out of the air.
And you can do these envelopes. You could do these
envelope system
divisions. And even if only $1 is going in there.
Yeah.
Like, you've been feeling like, yeah, but I don't have any money to do that. If it's $5, something like that, you know, there's another thing where we have loose change. It goes into a bucket.
Yeah.
And then over time, as that builds up, we find out how much money is in there. And then maybe that's for, you know, when we're on vacation and spending money. So it's like, it doesn't matter how little money is going into those things. It's the idea that you're planning for something.
Yeah.
Because when you plan for it, it's something about that where God starts multiplying you. It has buckets to go into because you've made plans for it. And I was so very bad at that. Just like terrible at that. I'm honest about that.
Yeah.
But she is good. And so there have been times something's come up and I'm like, something go down with the car and I'm like, okay, this needs to be fixed. But my style, money in there, I'm gonna ignore it. You know, it'll be fine. The car still runs. It'll be fine. But now it's like something go down and I'll mention it. And in my head, because then I program it, I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. No, you're like, well, no, we got the money for it. Here, you go on the thing. You give me a couple $100. And I'm like, dang, how we have that? Like, yeah, now let's go get the car fixed. Call the mechanic.
It's nothing more fun than having a whole book stack full of money. Like, that's just fun. Even for our son, I knew when we had our son, I like parties. I like planning stuff. So I made an account just for my son. Every pay period, I put money aside for his birthday. So when his birthday comes, I'm able to give him a birthday party, buy him whatever toy he wants without pulling from the general account. And it's not a stress. And it makes it more fun because I can anticipate things. So I do that for his birthday. I do it for Christmas. And it expands to the point now where I can, you know, bless my family from that habit. And I mean, it started out with just like doing $20 a week.
Yeah.
And it builds up over time.
Thanks to you, our son has birthday parties because it's up to me.
I know. Every year. Every year he gets birthday parties. But it's like financial freedom. We always think that it's when I have $1 million or I have $1 billion, I'll have financial freedom. Financial freedom is having control of the money that you are generating right now.
That's a word right there.
It's being able to see what's coming and what's going. That's having control of that. And then as the Lord is speaking to you, you know, it's just easier.
Yeah, and
when
so,
you can see what's going on.
And like I said, me being a giver, when I started setting the system of giving you the money, I was like, all right. Now I said, there's going to be times. I just know how me and the Lord do. I said, there's going to be times where the Lord will speak to me about a seed. And I said, I'm going to come to you and say, I want to sow this. And I said, it's up to you to decide which envelope you're going to pull it from. Because if we don't have the extra money just because everything's budgeted out, but I still want to sow this seed, I said, you're going to be the one to decide where you're going to pull it from, and then you're going to give it to me. If the Lord agree, if you have a witness in your spirit that yes, we need to sow this seed, so I'll tell you what I want to sow, and then I'll leave it alone. Then you'll come back to me and you'll hand me the money. I don't even know which envelope you pulled it from, but I've left that into your purview. I've given you that and saying
we
you
haven't
got
given
this.
envelope,
and then you give me money and say, all right, this is for the seed. All right, cool, and we go sow it. Believing God for the harvest of that seed sown. And then there are times coming to you, but like, look, the Lord is saying we need to sow extra every month.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then you'll sit for a bit with it and you come back and be like, all right, let's do it. And we'll figure out where it's coming from. And then now our giving has gone up. And then now that's an envelope because now we're giving more than we usually do as part of our regular offerings. And so everything can fit into this system. All right. And I think that's the final F, which is freedom, which is once you have structure, you actually have freedom.
You do. You really do.
We have more fun. And there was more. It seemed like I was making the same amount of money, but it seemed like we have more money now. Because I was letting the person who was good at it handle it. And I just honestly believe money multiplies in her hands.
It does.
Like,
money grows in my pocketbook. It does.
Because it just seems to pop up. And we have what we need to do what the things that we need to do and want to do while still moving to the ultimate goals. Okay. Now the cars are paid off. All right. Both cars gone. We have no more active credit cards. Those are paid off. Like, we had a system, and I remember each moment we paid this off, paid that off, you know? And so it's like, okay, now we're at debt freedom. Now we have no consumer debt anymore. All right, what's next? When I want to pay off the mortgage, okay? So now we move to the next thing. And you can do this together when you have that system, and God can bless you and escalate you. And he, when he blesses you, it falls into this system of freedom that you have. One F I had before this was flow, which is flow with it, because things are going to change.
Absolutely.
Emergencies are going to happen. Life changes are going to happen. Someone's going to get fired, laid off, reduction in force. Job's going to change. Income's going to get cut. Income's going to raise. You know, maybe both of y'all working. It's only one of y'all's working because wife is pregnant now. She wants to come home. Things are going to change. So never get so stuck on, I love the way this is right now, and this is perfect. That's why you have a system, because the system can remain even when things go up and down and change. It's like people who invest in the market. Them things go up and down, up and down, up and down. And as people of faith, we don't want to think along those lines, because we don't want to be negative and say negative confessions out of our mouths. We don't want to say that it's going to be a down month or a down year and things like that. But you got to understand that famine can happen around you. Isaac was in a land of famine. Now, he sowed and reaped 100-fold. That's what you believe, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And when those things happen, it's good to have a system that's in place for when those things happen, so the system can keep running. And then you keep sowing and sow your way out. But you gotta be ready to flow, because when things shift, you gotta be ready to shift with it. And you can't be so attached to yesterday that you can't move forward into tomorrow. Even when tomorrow doesn't look great and things look good, things look bad, you've got to be able to flow and roll with the changes. The finances will change, just like y'all's personalities and likes and dislikes will change.
Amen.
Change is a part of marriage. So you got to flow with it.
Amen. And I mean, in our giving, our tithing and giving will always supersede any budget or any plan that 100%. We could ever come up with, and we'll give all of it if necessary, because that's just how we operate, and that's just how we believe. But having this system has calmed us down so much. Like, we don't have arguments about money. We just don't. Like, that doesn't exist in our household anymore, having arguments about money, because we figured this thing out. And like you said, it takes seasons of tweaking it. You know, you'll figure out it'll change. Sometimes we deleted some of the envelopes, or we add some things like that. And but being transparent, understanding how both of us operate. And it took us some time to understand each other and how we communicate about money. But when I realized that you were a reckless giver, I keep using that word because that's how it was. Like, this man would sell everything in the house if it meant giving. And our funny story, you had some game systems and you sold them. And I'm like, I want to play a game. Oh, I sold it. What? You sold it? So we bought a Switch. I said, bro, put it in my name. Because if it's in my name, you can't just sell it. You got to ask me first. And it's kind of an inside joke, but because he would sell anything. And I like that about him. I do love that giving aspect about him. I really, really do. I respect it, because it's gotten us out of everything that we've been in. But we had to learn how to communicate about that, so we both can be in agreement about it and get the most out of it.
There's power in agreement.
Absolutely.
Power in agreement. That you trying to do it by yourself. Let's check out chat here. Again, if you're watching, let me know what city you're watching from, because we're about to do the little activity here in a second. So let's go to the main YouTube chat. Cozy. Oh, look, we had Kendria in the chat saying good morning. Good morning, Kendria.
Good morning.
Cozy said her first credit card was $500 too. Thought I had made it big.
I know, right? Look, back in the day, $500 did something back in the day.
Yeah, man. Let's see what she said. Snack money is important. Yes, it is.
Yeah, very much so. It's so real. Yeah. You gotta have that snack money. Like, my mom, she's an excellent budget person. She's the one who taught me how I handle money now. And she had a class she used to do for the church, and the stewardship class, and back then you weren't no computers and stuff. She was ledger. You had a ledger, a book, and you had to write down how much money you spent, how much you allocate for stuff. You bought a pack of gum, you allocate that. And you'd be surprised how many people just waste money on frivolous things, right? But then you had those extreme people who didn't give themselves an allowance, like you at one time, no allowance whatsoever. But then when I urged to buy something now, and it's like you have sort of an anxiety, you have no peace. And then you just impulsively would grab from an area that you shouldn't be grabbing from. But if you set aside snack money, knowing you're going to want to snack someday, you don't feel so bad. As a matter of fact, I have found that when I know things are allocated for something, the urge to want to spend lessens. And I don't know why that is. Anybody in the psychology degree, can you help me out? But it just lessens when I know that there's an allocation for it.
Yeah.
And then I'm more willing to, I let it pile up, for something big.
I mean, at the end of the day, budgeting is basically just saving.
Yeah.
It's just saving for
Really.
each category. That's all.
It
It's how
really
it accounts
is.
for everything. And anybody who's ever run a business, if you ever had an accountant help you set up your business properly, there's accounts for everything.
Yeah.
For all your expenses, outgo income, and everything like that. Like, this is office supplies. This is for, set aside for rent. Like, there's accounts ledger in your ledger of everything. So you need a ledger for your home, and that you'll know where everything's going, and you balance your books. Let's see here. Okay, no, those are the comments we had previously. All right, so yeah, give you one more chance to drop your city, and then I'm going to do this activity here. Do you want to talk about Audible again while I...
Yeah, let's shout out our podcast sponsor. That is Audible. If you like books, or if you're trying to get into books this year, Audible is a really great place to start, because you can listen to them while you're on the go, while you're at work, while you're on the toilet. It doesn't matter. You can listen to Audible. Audible has given our viewers a free trial, a 30-day free trial. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/Jayla and Casey, and you can get your free 30-day trial of Audible. It's a great way to listen and to read books.
There you go. Praise God. All right, so make sure you get that, audibletrial.com/Jayla and Casey. I think you're on Facebook. It's in the little external links thing next to the chat, so you can go ahead and get that for you. YouTube, we dropped it in the chat, or you just have to copy it down onto your phone. But yeah, go ahead and get that free trial. Read some books this year. All right, so here's the activity I'm going to do. So one thing that's interesting that you see when people talk about money, and I love that we talk real practically, and it's talk about the practicality of it. But there's a lot of psychology here, and sometimes even a spiritual aspect. People get kind of confused on how this stuff works. But one thing that you see is kind of this push and pull between men and women when it comes to typically what you'll have. I won't say typically now, but a lot of them to have is the man will go out and work. Sometimes both are working, but typically if one person's working, it's going to be the husband out working. And if anybody's going to be staying home, it's going to be the wife staying home, mother and children, stay-at-home mom, things like that. Maybe she has some other social income.
Mompreneurs now, as we're calling it.
A lot of mompreneurs. So, and that system. And, that was always a system that I preferred. I always wanted a system where if anybody had to be out there working, it would be me, not you.
I prefer that system too.
Yeah. But the weird thing that tends to happen for some people, not everybody, but some people, is that a man will get the idea that because he's the one making the money, that means he gets complete control and decision making over the money. Or even if he doesn't have complete decision making, that his vote has a higher rank than hers because he makes the money. He's not saying his vote has a higher rank because, for spiritual reasons, something like that, but just because I'm the one making the money, I kind of get to decide. And that's the improper mindset to have. Okay. When you're building a home in marriage, you are partners in this. All right.
Equal
Y'all are
partners
working together.
Yes.
In this. All right. And although as the man, hopefully you are the visionary, and yes, you are the leader, you are still partners. It's possible to do that. It's possible for there to be someone who is the leader, but y'all still be equal partners. It's very doable, because the leadership aspect has to do with vision in the household and direction. All right. So making the money, being the one out there making the money, doesn't mean that you have sole decision-making power with that money. Y'all have to decide before you get married, and it's why it's important to have these discussions in the find out stage before you get married about what is everybody's viewpoints on money. You want to make sure that y'all don't have a twisted mindset of this is mine, this is yours. It's ours. We're working together. We're pulling our resources together. We have one bank account. You can have multiple bank accounts. I don't care, but I'm just saying we have a central bank account where we know what's going on. We know each other's incomes. It comes together, and then we decide how we're going to do this. Whether both are working or one is working, doesn't matter. We're going to decide how this is done together. All right? Because if we're going to look at this from a technical aspect, and this is the fun activity, from technical aspect, as a man, if you're thinking that, well, because I make the money, I should decide, or I'm adding the economic value to the household, so I have a greater say in what happens in this household, you're actually only getting part of the picture. So let's look at this economically. Let's look at this like a business. In business, there is income and there's expenses. All right. And so let's say you're a big Fortune 500 company or even a small mom and pop shop. If you're going through a tight time and you need to increase your capital, the resource that you have, your cash on hand, there's more than one way to do that. it's not just, okay, we need to sell more. We need to sell more thingamajigs and get more money in here. That's one way to increase your capital, to increase your resources. But that's not the only way. You can also look at the ledger and lower expenses. You can find ways so that there is less money going out. Because if you can cut expenses, you could actually, without selling more products, increase the capital and increase the income. You're lowering the expenses because income goes up. If expenses go up at the same rate the income goes up, there is no net gain. You're still only having, let me make it very mathematically perfect. If your income is $100 and your expenses is $50, what's the net difference between that? $50. That's your net income is $50. And I'm simplifying this, but just follow me here. So if you go up to $200 in income and you go up to $150 in expenses, although your income has gone up, because your expense has gone up, your net income's still $50. So you're not making any more money. Your revenue has increased, but you're not making any more money. So if you're like, if this keeps happening, you're like, man, we need to do something different. Sure, you can go to your salespeople and say, y'all need to sell more faster than the expenses go up. Or you can look at the expenses and say, okay, while they're working on selling more, we can also lower expenses. And if you keep the income even at just $200, but you lower that $150 expenses down to $100, you have now made your net income $100. You just made more money without making more money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're like, what does that have to do with marriage? Follow me.
Follow along, children.
All right. So in marriage, if you're the income engine of the household as a man, you're thinking, I add economic value to this household because I'm the income engine. So I get to decide what happens with the money. But you're leaving out the expenses. And if you have a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom as your wife, she is adding a huge amount of economic value to the household. You just don't see it because you're only looking at income. You're not realizing how much, by her sheer existence, she is lowering the expenses. Now,
you know, some people like, have you expensive?
Yeah, okay. Well, watch this. All right, so I'm going to choose a city that was dropped in the chat. The city that I saw was Newport News from Travis. So we're going to go with Newport News then. All right, let's have some fun here. What is, I just Googled it, the salary of a live-in nanny in Newport News? It's a big range, but we'll go do the low end for everything. So I'm going to need you to write these down in the calculator.
Okay.
All right.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah. So 36. Just put 36. We don't have to worry about the zeros.
36.
It's 36,000, but just put 36 and
Okay.
I'll add 1,000 back later. So 36,000 for live-in nanny.
Okay.
All right. How about a private chef? Private chef salary, Newport News. And you can do this wherever you live. Private chef, Newport News. Let's say low end 52,000. So plus 52. Okay. So nanny for the children, private chef for the food. Oh, cleaning the house. Okay.
Must.
What do they call that?
A maid.
Housekeeper. House cleaning. Okay, housekeeper. That actually.
House manager.
No, housekeeper.
For the upper class people.
Yeah. That's real expensive. Let's do housekeeper because that covers everything. I'm just going to stop with those three so we don't go on too long here. All right, housekeeper, low end is 31,000. So just add plus 31. Okay, so add all three of those together. We got housekeeper, nanny, and chef. What do we got?
That's 119,000.
So 119,000. Okay. By now, y'all know where I'm going with this. The economic value in Newport News that your wife is possibly on the low end adding to your household is $119,000. Now you're like, first of all, we've never seen that much money come into our household. Yes, but you've kept it in your household by not sending it out the door. Because if you have kids, if there's cleaning to be done, if there's cooking to be done, and the stay-at-home wife or mom is doing even part of those things, and you may say, well, she doesn't do all of that. I help with some of that. Okay, cut that in half. Cut 119 and a half. If you're doing half and half, probably not. But if you cut that in half, you're looking at 60,000. Okay, that is how much money is not leaving your household. Because either you'd have to work that job and come home and do it yourself, which plenty of single people do. But what happens when you get married is y'all start sharing responsibilities. So either you have to come home and do all of that yourself, even if it's eating out. I'm not gonna get a private chef. I'm gonna eat out. Whatever, that's fine. But anything that she is doing that you would have to pay for to do, that is economic value. Whether it's very small amount or whether it's as much as $120,000. That is economic value being added in the household because it's not turning into expenses. And so if you ever have the thought process that I make all the money and so I should have all the control of what happens with the money in the household, you're being incorrect, because you're not dialing in her economic value. She's adding it to the household in the form of lowered expenses. Because if you add the two together, she may be adding just as much economic value to the household as you are. She might be adding more. And that would be surprising. You might not want to tell your wife this, but by doing the math on this, wherever you live, you look at how much money you actually make and then how much what she's doing that you're not having to pay for. She might be adding more economic value to the household than you are. And the moment you find that out, you say, okay, this is how we should measure it. Yeah. No, you shouldn't even measure. None of this should matter. What should matter is that y'all are equal partners in this. And that the same way that y'all bodies belong to one another, y'all's money belongs to one another.
It really does.
And we decide together what we do.
It really does. Just like you wouldn't keep a secret friendship, at least you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't keep secrets financially from each other. They call that financial infidelity because the man or the woman will have a secret account somewhere saving money. And there's a reason for that. And 9 times out of 10, it's because of mistrust. They don't trust that the wife is going to not spend all the money, or the man's not going to spend all the money on something frivolously that's not going to help and benefit the family. So that is infidelity in your finances. So don't keep secrets. Now, my husband knows that I make money, and he knows, and I have my own separate income that I get. And he knows how much money I get, and he knows that I keep a lot of that in my wallet, because he'll see me pull out a stack of money, you know. And but he's not clueless of the fact that she has money, because I let him know. But we have freedom with one another. We trust one another, because now we have the system in place, and there's no need for us to hide, no need for us to lie to one another. If you're going to make a major purchase, like, I'm not going to go out and just buy a car and come home and be like, hey, look what I bought.
Them Christmas commercials where they have a bow in the car, like, oh, you surprised with a car? I'm like, that's so realistic. Ain't nobody go.
I know, right? Who's doing that? I mean, maybe
nice, I guess, but I'm just saying, like, that was funny to me.
Now, I mean, listen, if maybe there are people like that, and maybe people's finances are that way, and that's great if it is, and it's working for them, but that's not you. Most people watching us today, that is not your situation.
Praise God when you get there, but
okay, you know, maybe your wife got, you know, a few $100,000 saved in a bank account, and that's hers. That's great, and she can buy you a car and vice versa. But the point of the matter is, you got to have transparency. You got to have these conversations. You got to be realistic. You got to know what your problems are. And if you have addictions like gambling, or you're a shopaholic and you know it, like, you have to address it. You know, you have to address it and stop lying to yourself. I buy too much. You know, recently I was looking at, you know, how we spend, things like that. I said, you know, there are some areas that I think we waste. And I remember telling you about it, you know, and not that we didn't have the money to buy the stuff. It wasn't about that. But now I'm more conscious of, like, wastefulness. Like, just because you are able to buy something don't mean you have to buy it.
Exactly.
And especially if you're just wasting it. So I'm on an own personal mission to kind of, like, just stop wasting unnecessary stuff. Like, you know, you don't need that large fry. Buy the small one. you're not going to eat it all. Like, stop buying more than you actually can eat just because you can. You know, and this is me. You don't have to do what I'm doing, but I'm just recognizing small areas where we waste. And I'm like, you know, we have a responsibility to be good stewards over our money.
Yeah.
You know,
and you're like, but there are people out there who make a lot of money who don't have to take those things into consideration. You're right, because they've reached a point where their discretionary spending could be thousands of dollars, because by ratio it's the same as you having $1. That it doesn't matter if you put in a gum machine, whatever. It doesn't matter. But if you want to get there, if that's part of your vision, I want to be there one day. All right, we got to make a plan on how we're going to get there.
Yep.
We're not going to get there by acting like those people now, because we're not there yet. And so you say, how do I get from here to there? And it's as simple as that. And I heard a story once. The guy was actually telling me the story directly, and he wasn't a believer or anything like that, but it was just kind of going to show him playing the shrimps. He had a good job as a banker, and do scenarios, he had to leave that job. He had to resign from that job. He just couldn't do it anymore. But he was making good money. And so he came home to his wife, and like, he expected her to, like, once he tells her she's going to leave him, whatever like that. But she was cool and calm about it. He found out why. He didn't know she was doing this. But basically, when he got all his money, he was handed to her. So he didn't know how much money he had, but he was making well over 6 figures. And as bank, he was making bonuses about that. So he was just, as money would come in, just hand it off to her. And because she was really good at saving, something that he didn't really have a great skill at, I guess, she had saved up like a lot of money, like amount of money that goes way beyond just the standard emergency fund, because she was really good at it. So she wasn't a woman who was taking it and spending it crazily. She was stacking it up for a rainy day. And a rainy day came because he had to resign from this job. And she was like, okay, I'm cool. And then one day he realized why she was so cool, because all this money was saved up. So it gave them time for him to go find another job where he had to actually take less money starting out and then work his way back up. But they were cool because it was saved. And so I'm just saying that to say that if one of you has that skill level, put it in their hands so that they can be good with skill. Whoever's the better cook in the household, let them cook because they're the better cook. We're going to be a lot happier if the person who is good at it is doing the thing that they're good at. And so since you're good at handling the money, I'm like, all right, it's better I put it in your hands. That takes stress off of me. That takes a lot of stress off of me.
Well, I think the stress comes, though, is when one person feel like they're pulling the whole wagon all by themselves. And that's where, if the woman has to go make the money, manage the money, manage the house, all that kind of stuff, and she feel like her husband's not pulling the weight, then, you know, that's where there's real stress come in. And vice versa. The man feel like, I'm doing all the work outside, I'm bringing the money, I got to come home, clean the house, take care of the kids, buy food, whatever. And he's perceiving that the wife is not pulling her weight. That's where the stress really comes in, because no one has sat down yet and really divvy up the responsibilities according to each other's strengths. Now, what if the woman is more entrepreneurial and better at business, and should she be the one working?
Well, here's the thing. I remember when I first started in the workplace, you know, right before we got married, and you had your business, and we had a lot of discussions about the future of your business, we wanted to go. And one of our early goals was that I could, at some point, leave my job and, quote unquote, come work for you and your business, and whatever my title would have been. But we realized that my business sense, my sales sense, would do a whole lot for your business and skill sets that you didn't have.
Yeah.
And the things that I had, I was like, if I come and take this and bring this to your business, this could escalate into something greater, you know? And so our dream together was always to work together in business.
Yeah.
And I think that should be more couples' dreams and goals, is that you work together in business. Whoever the front face is, it doesn't really matter. You know, whatever the occupation is, maybe your wife is a really good cook and you're like, we should start a food truck. It doesn't matter that she is technically the head labor. If y'all both get into this together, y'all both can be working just as hard. Talk to any couple who's ever gone to business together. It doesn't matter who's doing the physical aspect. Y'all both working just as hard in that business if y'all doing it together. So that goes out the window, the aspect of, well, who should be making them up like that? Do it together. Even if, let's say it's a husband working a job and it's just out there in the secular world, whatever, working for a boss. Wife, you should still get involved somehow. Find a way to help him progress in that, to see the value that he's bringing and say, look, I believe you can go for that promotion. You should be trying to get more clients. You can do more. Or maybe he needs to launch into business and you can support him in doing that. Like, y'all should be involved economically in each other's pursuits, even if those things seem like they're separate, or y'all don't really seem to know where each other mesh in, because it's just money. Like,
it is just money.
Money follows productivity.
Yeah.
Find a way to be productive together.
Because you got to understand that your house is your hub, and you're doing everything for the benefit of your household.
Yeah.
Whether both of you working or one of you working, is for the benefit of the household. And you need to have a household vision. I mean, now we have multiple videos on vision for your relationship, things like that. But whatever your goals are, I know a lot of young couples start out and they may not have kids. So they're like, you know, I want to finish school. I want to do these things. So they have goals and things of that nature. But those things need to be discussed on how they need to be pursued.
Exactly.
And you need to honor your agreement. Now, be flexible, because life brings different changes. I know we've had to fluctuate things as life changes has happened to us, especially about the part of you working for me. It didn't happen that way exactly the way we've seen it, but we're leading back to that in the future. But it's not about working for me. We're working for us.
Yeah.
That's how we see everything. We're working for us. And the corporation of Jalen and Casey, we work for each other. So it's not a he, she, this is my kind of thing. But we're always finding ways of how can we benefit this family? How can we progress this family?
And what happens is y'all stop stepping on each other's toes. Like, okay, this right here, the business of what we do here on YouTube. You know, this is a business. It's an actual corporation. It's a legal thing. And how we divvy up responsibility is different.
Yeah.
You know, I handle a lot of the creative side of things. whether in technical and creative. Well, actually, it's more technical. The editing, the recording, all that stuff, the setup, the lights, the cameras, the action. That's my side. She doesn't touch any of that. But as I'm doing that, I don't feel like, oh, you should help me set up. You should help me edit. I know my skill set. This is my skill set. So let it be in the hands of the person who's the best at it. We're going to slow down trying to just make sure everybody has equal weight being pulled. It doesn't matter. So on any given day, I'm spending more hours per day on the production side of the content that we put out. However, she is actually more on the creative side. For example, these live streams was her idea.
Ding.
She came to me and was like, I was praying about it. I think we should do this. Perfect idea. I'm very glad it's had a success for all our social media channels. She came up with the structure of the show. Her responsibility is to go get the hot topics and the games that we play and things like that. So she handles that part. All right. There are times where I have an idea for something, and because, for example, we got a big audience of single women, you know, so a lot of times we have content that has to deal with that. Well, that's not for me typically to talk about. It's for her. But I'll have the idea, so I'll come to her and say, okay, look, we need to shoot a video on this, that, and the other, whatever. She'll sit in front of the camera, be the on-camera talent for that content that has to deal with single women, because she's the one that has something to say to speak to that. And so that's the way it's divvied up right now. And then as time goes on, things change. But you've got to, same thing with the finances in the household, don't get, and the income of money and who's doing the work, don't get so caught up on trying to make the division labor so even so that everyone has put out the same amount of physical effort by the end of the day.
Amen.
It doesn't really matter. Stop trying to figure out who's pulling the most weight.
It doesn't.
Are we achieving the goal?
Amen.
That's really all that matters. Can we achieve the goal? And there's a statistic, I wish I had the numbers, that says that the men who make the most money are the ones who are married. You make more money when you're married.
Yeah, and you know what? You know why? Is one, because if you're doing it God's way, God's going to bless you, because the Bible said, who finds a wife finds a good thing, and he's blessed of God. You read the Bible. A wife brings blessings, okay? Because for one, it brings expansion to you, because before you married me, you didn't have a desire to expand yourself the way you do now. Oh, no. You didn't have a need for the things that you have now. Like I said, he could have lived on a can of beans and lived in a tree and would have been all right. As long as he doing God's will, a tree house and a can of beans, he would have survived. But he got a wife now who's like, we can't do that. Nope. So he leveled up in how he carries himself and what he needs, because God's like, she needs more than what you need. And that brought expansion to our lives. So being married actually bring more wealth to you. And it should anyway. But also we want to talk about real quick before we go into our next segment is that we never want to dial out the favor of God. Never. Because you would never have enough to do everything that the kingdom of God wants you to do without the favor of God being on you. So no matter how many zeros are behind your paycheck, dial in the favor of God, because he'll open doors. I've seen him, especially in our lean times, where I'm like, this is how much grocery money we have. So Holy Spirit, show me where to go shopping. Angels, go right now and reserve the best produce or the best meats or whatever it is, and help me put a list together. And he has the best. It seems like deals will just happen. And I'm like, it's because of me. The favor of God is on me, and I can get more out of these few dollars than, anyone else, because the favor of God is on me. So always, in clothes or cars, whatever it may be, Lord, show me where to go today. I ask, where should I shop today? Because I want your favor to be on me. And if favor is not about free, it's about availability and about just, I even had a lady, I was in the grocery store and I let her go before me. Because she had less items than me, and she was an older lady, and she was like, oh, you sure? Because I had my son with me, and she was like, oh, you sure? I said, yes, ma'am, you can have before me, you got less items. So she did her thing. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know that she purchased a $50 gift card for me, and she turned around and she handed it to me, and she said, thank you. And I'm like, what is this?
And this economy, $50 gift card.
And because I'm so used to being the one of like giving myself, I had the money to buy my groceries. I did. I didn't come in there without no money. I was looking for this, but the favor of God showed up and used that lady to pay for my groceries. And I was blessed, and I made sure that I let her know, and I said, God bless you. Thank you so much. And she was like, I forget everything she said, but just like, you were so kind to me. and I just want to do this for you. And she didn't know me from Adam. Like, she didn't know me at all. But the Spirit of God has a way of blessing you and favoring you because that's just the favor of God.
Yep. And I know many a time where you come to me after I get home from work and you're like, yeah, I was out here and the Lord told me to stop here today. And I wanted to go home, but I stopped here. And maybe you were planning to redecorate something in the house. And you already set aside money for it.
Yeah.
But Lord told you go to this store today that you weren't even planning on, and you found the thing for way cheaper than what you were going to buy on Amazon.
Yeah, always.
So God, several times, again, you're kind of the expense side of the house of the budget. God has lowered expenses in your hands with the favor of God. The job come home like, I just got a raise today, or I got a new client today, or I got a big sale today.
Yeah.
God raised it on the income side. So whatever is in your hands, God will bless it. But you got to be in agreement. You got to be going in the same direction because God can bring it any way he likes, any way that he wants. There are miracles where Jesus multiplied people had fish and loaves. There are miracles where there was nothing there, and he said, hey, the fish is going to have it in his mouth, and the money just came in. Like that, there's many different ways it can hit from either side of the budget. But the favor of God can be there. Have the goal and say, this is where we're going. If the goal is extravagant, cool. We're going to get there. We're going to do it together. That's how you navigate finances in your household.
Amen.
Woo! You need to talk about your mentorship starting today.
Yes, we didn't want to forget about that. My mentorship, Mastering Your Singleness 6-week mentorship, starts today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all, there's still room for you to sign up if you want to sign up. We're going to drop the link in the chat. The cost is $29. This 6 weeks are going to be the most powerful 6 weeks of your life. If you are a single woman out there and you're like, I want to set direction for my life this year. I want to become a wife. I want that mantle. I want that anointing. And even if being a wife isn't your goal, but you just want to maximize your singleness, we're going to talk about all of it in the next 6 weeks. Again, that starts tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to drop the link in the chat. Sign up today. There's still room for you. Okay, don't miss this opportunity. It's an awesome time. I know what it did for me in my singleness, and it changed the trajectory of my life. I've increased so much because of what I will be sharing in these next 6 weeks to those who sign up. So don't miss it. Okay, this is your call. If you thought you had missed it, you didn't.
Starts tonight. So
it starts tonight. Click the link. Okay, it's $29 to sign up. I mean, listen, you're gonna spend $29 on your next outing in just a little bit. That little lunch you're gonna take, $30. You know, you can't buy a cheeseburger or French fries today without spending at least $30 on it. Okay, so invest in your future right now.
Amen. Yeah, I'm just dropping it in all the chats so everybody can see it. TikTok is the only one place I can't drop it, but you saw it on the screen. If you're on TikTok, you just need to message us, DM us, and we'll make sure you get the link and everything. Email it to you. But yeah, sign up for that. That starts tonight. But yeah, I like talking about money. I like talking about finances, and you know, our stories are just so funny sometimes. Things that we went through.
I know God has been good to us.
Experiences that we have, but God's been good to us through every change. And we experienced some things. Don't think like, man, my problem is so crazy. We've experienced getting reduction in force. We've experienced starting businesses, closing businesses. We've experienced, like I said, losing assets, the car getting destroyed. We've experienced the process of buying a house. We've experienced getting new debt that we shouldn't have gotten and paying off debt miraculously because God provided the money miraculously to get it paid off. I've had bills disappear before my eyes. I had to pay it, and then suddenly it didn't have to be paid no more because God did something miraculous behind the scenes. We've been through every medical things, surprise medical bills. We've been through just about any. If there's more stuff, I don't know. We've been through everything.
We don't want that.
I'm just saying. But I think we've been through every possible scenario financially that would make you go like, oh my gosh, we just started trying to do a plan. We just started trying to figure it out. And then suddenly something went wrong. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah. I remember that, like, we was trying to get an emergency fund set up for so long, and we struggled so hard to try to get this emergency fund set up. And it's like, what? As soon as we get $100 in there, something come up. There was an emergency. I'm like, we ain't gonna never get this emergency fund set up. But once we got our system, because part of it was we didn't have a system at that time. We didn't have our system figured out. But once we got our system figured out, it was so easy. And then I remember one time you was like, that's how much money we got in our emergency fund. I'm like, yeah, we done stacked up pretty good. Praise God. But let's go to our next segment, and that is Hot Topic. We still don't have a graphic for that, but that's okay.
While you're getting that up, I'm gonna say Travis said, I've noticed that it becomes easier for me to save the more I save. I like the look of money over there. Yeah, there you go.
It is. It is fun. But caveat to that, I can only talk about me.
Yeah.
Having money in stacks and looking at it and touching it, feeling it, seeing it when it's there, sometimes it can get kind of hard to spend it. And the Lord has had to help me. Now, me being the spender of the family, I've had to learn how to spend money again. And to say, you know what, more will come.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you get kind of addicted to the process of saving. And I'm not saying this is Travis's problem, but it's just like, man, I don't want to spend it. Because you knew what it took for you to get it there.
Yeah.
It's just exciting. It's like Christmas, you know. But I've learned that this money is allocated for this. Spend it on that. More will come. So it is still that process of trusting God for all your needs. So
Amen.
that's kind of a caveat to being a avid saver. But I like spending his money. His money I can spend very easily.
Or you spend someone else's money.
Yeah, it is. All right. So hot topic goes right along with what we're talking about today, finances, money, and relationships. And I have a little story. It has a little story attached to it. So let's talk about it. Y'all ready? All right. So after 4 years of dating, Katarina, and her live-in boyfriend, well, you know how that goes. Shouldn't do that. Proposed to her in Pismo Beach during a road trip along the California coast last January. Ecstatic, the couple quickly began planning a wedding in Malibu, California for March 2023. So this is a few years ago. Then some things didn't quite add up about her partner's finances. He was super avoidant around money, so it became an avoidance topic in the relationship.
Oh boy.
Katarina, who lived in San Diego, asked to use her middle name for privacy reasons, I guess for this story's sake, okay? Now, the boyfriend says it's an uncomfortable topic for him and made it seem like he did or didn't have money, depending on the situation.
So it will switch up. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So with their wedding date looming, Katarina began feeling anxious about the steady stream of online purchases being delivered to their home and all the sports gears piling up in the garage. She wondered if combining finances was really a smart idea. I didn't know everything he bought because he would hide it. But a lot of time he would be around hobbies like biking, weightlifting, rock climbing, diving, golfing. But then I noticed, she said, the hobbies never took place, so it turned into useless junk. So he was just buying a whole bunch of stuff, had all these hobbies, but just purchasing stuff. So he had some issues there. She confronted her fiance and learned that his savings were zero, and that he spent nearly $2,000 a month on these random purchases. It kind of felt like I was cheated on, said Katarina. A few months back, she made the difficult decision to call off the wedding and break up with her longtime partner. He promised to go to therapy and change his ways, but she was dubious. It felt like an unreparable betrayal to have someone hiding that from you, she said. And then it goes to say that Gen Zers and millennials are placing an increasing emphasis on the financial health of their romantic relationships. They're talking candidly about credit scores and savings early in relationships, getting prenuptial agreements, and calling things off over money issues. Financial infidelity is a serious issue because it devalues trust within the relationship, and it points to communication issues. Talked about that. And yeah, that's what it says.
Interesting. Well, look, at least you found out before they got married, although you were living with the dude for a while, but you know.
Well, there's a little stats on this. The Knox Financial Study 2022 found that 43% of those surveyed were most likely to consider it a deal breaker if their partner was secretive about finances or dishonest about money being spent.
Well, look, before you married, if someone's being secret about anything, not opening up about anything, that's a red flag for you to say, okay, whoa, what's going on here? Because you're not suddenly going to change because you get married.
No, you're not.
So that's the thing. I think for some people, they feel like it's somehow shallow to talk about money before you get married, or to care about it or put a focus on it. But money is literally what you're going to spend 8 hours typically of your life going to go make. Mm-hmm. So if it's not important, why are you doing that?
Exactly.
You know, you spend a large portion of your decision making based on that. Even though food is important to eat, You decide what you are not going to eat based on how much money you have. So money is a huge part of your life. You about to tie yourself to somebody. You better know what's going on with their money.
Exactly.
And they better be willing to talk about it if we're going to tie our lives together the rest of our lives. So no, it's not shallow thing about money or talk about money getting married. It's very important. You should know these things. And someone should be open about that when it comes to their money. So don't think that it's too much to ask about that. It's not too much to ask about someone's credit score. Not too much to ask what someone's debt is looking like. It's not too much to ask. I'm sorry, it just isn't.
It's not. I mean, no, because you're going to be making big financial decisions together, like buying a home, purchasing a car. You need to know what your score is. Those are important things because that's just the nature of the land that we live in.
Yeah.
Okay, so if your country dealt in bottle caps, I didn't know how many bottle caps that you got, bro. Like we need to know these things and how you sell those bottle caps. Whatever the currency is, it's important to your everyday life.
Exactly.
And I know when we got married, I divulged that I had this amount of debt.
Yep.
But you also saw that I had something like I had a hard time of letting stuff go, like in my car. And I had a hard time letting stuff go because I got used to having certain things. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier about kind of searching out those areas of waste because I'm just so used to having stuff up and running that we don't even think about it. We're not really using it. So I had subscriptions to stuff or I was, when you first met me, I was part of this business. Okay.
Everybody's been a couple one of these businesses before.
I was part of one of these. I was selling a makeup brand at the time, and being in the beauty industry, you get hooked up to a lot of stuff. But I wasn't doing that well in this particular business. But I had to spend a certain amount of money a month in order to stay a part of it, right? And I kept putting out hundreds of dollars every month for this to stay active. And you was like, why are you doing that? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't stop doing it. Maybe I was thinking maybe one day it'll pop off. And I did like some of the products that I was, getting from it, but it just wasn't financially sound. But for some reason, I just didn't have the capacity just to say like, I'm just going to quit this.
I'm good at cancel. I'm good at setting
He's very good. Yes, he's very good at that.
Turn it off. Should have told me that I'm turning stuff off a lot. But yeah.
So, he was like, get rid of that. And I did. It was a smart decision. But, I'm a lot better now at that. But he's still better at like, get rid of it. We don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. Get rid of it. Turn it off. But I'm like, what about when I want to watch that one movie? We have so many subscriptions, y'all. We have so many subscriptions, but we'll have that one that you hardly ever use except for 1 or 2 times a year.
My mind is if you've gone a year without, like, especially when you clean out your house, same thing.
Yeah.
You've gone a year without needing this, without knowing that you had it, get rid of it.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need it just because you found it.
Yeah. But you need to really know the personality of the person you're hooking up with, their spending personality.
Exactly. Spending personality is a good one.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's been helpful today. I have a viewer comment we can respond to.
Yay.
All right, so let's go and play the video that they were commenting on. This is a friendly one. We had a friendly one today. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we had
I
comments.
went to my prayer time and I said, Lord, reveal her to me. Show me your image of her. Give me a vision. I'm a man of vision. I like vision. I like to know what the Lord sees for me. So if I have a vision, I'll get the thing done. So I was like, Lord, I need a vision of Casey. You show this to me. And he did. He revealed to me something so beautiful just about the future, about who she is as a person, who she was going to be, and the part that I could play in being a part of it. I like assignment. I like investment. So he's showing me what my investment would generate in her and how I'll play a role in her greatness. And I wanted to be a part of that. I want to be a part of this mission, this assignment for the glory of God.
All right, so that was a video, and the comment was a question. Did God show you her as well? No, show her you as well. I'm curious because God showed me my husband, but I don't know if God showed me as his wife to him. So I guess that'd be a question for you because I was talking about how I knew that was you. And to give you a little more backstory on that, what it was I was interested in her. God had highlighted her to me, and then I went before God, like I said in the video, and prayed and got the vision of like the entire vision of her. And I said, okay, yes, I make this decision. I want to be with her. Thank you, Lord, for showing her to me. So that was it. So did you have any kind of experience like that? Or what was your experience like?
Yeah, absolutely. Once God kind of highlighted you to me as a potential mate, then yeah, he gave me a vision. Again, I wasn't I was in that period of time where I wasn't looking at any particular person as my husband. And if y'all know our story, when God pretty much said that, believe God for Jalen, I was like, him? Why? Like, we got an age gap and all this kind of stuff like that. I'm not touching this. God, if you want this for me, then you had to make it happen. He did. But he began to show me visions of who you are now and who you are walking into. And so, yes, he will give you. And is this person admiring this person from a distance and hoping that God is showing them?
Probably, because she's saying she believes that God showed her that that's her husband. So now she's wondering. She's probably waiting to see is it going to be the same again. I'll pull up for you again. Yeah. Did God show her you as well? I'm curious because God showed me my husband, but I don't know if God showed me as his wife to him.
I mean,
Well, I mean, look, she's not asking that part. She's just asking, did it happen? What was your experience? So,
I mean, yeah, God showed you me to you, and God showed me you to me.
Yeah.
But that's because we were meant to be. I can't say in this situation for her, if God is speaking to him about.
I don't know if she's asking that. She's just asking, did God show?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out, as you can see. It worked out. Does anybody any comments?
But I will say this. Anybody who got married and as a spirit-led believer, that had to happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody just woke up one day at the altar, So I mean, at some
maybe
point,
somebody did.
but at some point, God, they had to get before the Lord. Mm-hmm. Whether God didn't share that conversation or they didn't share conversation with God, like, talk to me about this person.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. A lot of times we get real stuck on the particulars and technicalities of this. But in multiple ways this happens. Sometimes you feel like, I noticed them first and let me go talk to God about this person. Or, God, you brought them up to me first and let me sit down. But either way, you still got to go before God and let him talk to you and give you a vision, regardless of how it starts out. We get so bent on those little details. It's like, well, is God choosing for me or am I choosing or blah, blah, blah. Everything in your life in this walk of faith is a partnership with God. Okay? All of it is. All right? So it's you and God in this process of every project of faith that you do. It's a partnership. That's just the way it is. And that's how it went down with us. So thank you for that question. All right. Is it game time now? Let me check comments while you pull up whatever the game is. But I assume it is game time now.
It is game time.
Yeah, nothing new. All right. So we can get into it.
We need to have some music and face cards, some cards here. You're going to have some Wednesday. You're going to have some graphics.
Oh, you're talking about the graphics.
Yes.
You're going to have them Wednesday?
Yes, you're going to have them Wednesday. I'm saying it to y'all, so it's pressure for him to make them. He going to have stuff ready for me on Wednesday's broadcast.
Interesting.
And if you don't have it ready, he won't listen to me.
Interesting.
Okay.
Oh, I need to pull up the YouTube app right now. So let's close that out. All right, where am I going?
What do you mean where we're going? We are doing Would You Rather.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
What were you going to pull up?
I don't know. I saw something in here about pulling up a YouTube, so that's what I was doing.
No, that's about something else.
Okay, cool.
Okay, put everything on blast.
All right, what we got? Again, super chats, Facebook, Stargo, same thing. Suggest our next topic.
Okay, so this is a segment of our show we'd like to do to kind of close things out. It's called Would You Rather, just have a little bit of free time. And those of you watching, you can chime in as well in the comments. We would like to know your response to these Would You Rathers, because we have a fun time here doing that. Yep. So the first one is, and think about it, Jalen never knows these questions.
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
He never knows what they are. Okay. Would you rather have a perfect memory or be able to forget anything you wanted at will?
Be able to forget anything I wanted at will.
I knew you was going to say that.
Easy.
I don't know. I want to have perfect memory.
That's not all I was cracked up to be. No, I would be tortured by it because nobody else would have it. And so I would know what people said and them telling me I didn't say that and me not being able to prove it. I get annoyed by that now because I tend to feel like I remember stuff better than other people. They'll be like, that's not what happened. I'm like, that's definitely what happened. You remember.
But you could be wrong, though.
Okay, but now I would know that I'm right. And as tortured as I am now, and maybe I'm wrong, knowing that I'm right, how much worse would that be? I would need everybody to have perfect memory as well.
I still would like to have perfect memory because I think I could use that to my advantage to have perfect memory of everything. Mm-mm. I think that would be great.
I'd rather forget things that I don't want to remember. Any bad memories?
I mean, yes, there are things that I would like to forget, but
make other people forget stuff.
But I don't know. But forgetting could also You could probably make that same mistake again because you didn't know you made it. If you forgot.
Man, you just made a dope TV show.
I'm just saying, think about it.
I mean, yes, but it would probably be more for stuff that I feel like is inhibiting. It wouldn't be like stuff that a bunch of people know. Just something that in my memory, like something that I'm ashamed of or that I was embarrassed about that keeps me from making decisions I need to make in the future. I'll just like forget it so that way I can move forward.
Okay, you're on a deep level.
It would be
that.
something like that.
Okay.
It wouldn't be something deep like I forget a major world event and then I'm clueless.
Okay. Would you rather wake up in Freaky Friday or Groundhog Day?
How did he resolve in a Groundhog Day?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember. Was it like he had to be a nicer person or fall in love or something? I'm trying to remember what it was.
It wasn't falling in love. I forget, really.
Well, regardless, Groundhog Day is fixable. You got to fix something.
Yeah. Freaky Friday is too weird.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how would you like waking up in my body?
If it was you and it was just like for a day, it's a time limit on it, it wasn't nothing demonic. Like it was just, okay, just so.
Not demonic.
It's demonic. You know, one day it's over. I could do that. I think you and I swapping bodies for a day would probably, it probably strengthen our marriage if anything.
I don't know if it will. Honestly, I don't know. Now, because for one, I had to get used to the height adjustment.
So
okay, but so I'm just saying that will probably be very weird because I probably hitting my head on stuff, not understanding my reach.
Wait, you're not gonna act the issue.
No, but maybe you understand. I've been this height ever since I was like 13. I don't know, and you know how far to do things, how low to dip, how to whatever. You just things you just know.
Super King Zell is showing the chat. Hey, what's up, Zell? Thanks for being a channel member. He said, "Hey, y'all."
I would definitely be stumbling all over the place if I just woke up in your body.
I don't think you would stumble. I think you would have the equilibrium down. I think you'd be all right. But that's the only issue.
I probably would go to the gym and lift a whole bunch of heavy weights that I can't lift right now.
Don't hurt me doing that.
I'm just saying, I probably do that. So I don't know. I probably would choose a Groundhog Day. I don't think Freaky Friday would be that fun.
If it was with you, I'd do it because as long as I can just do it for a day. But Groundhog Day. Otherwise, I do Groundhog Day because I can end that somehow.
Yeah. Would you rather be recognized for your intelligence or your kindness? Intelligence.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm known for now. Look, here's the thing. You can be known for your intelligence, but people might not like you, though. You'd be like a smart aleck. Like,
I mean, look at Elon Musk. I don't think he cares. He's intelligent and rich.
I will say that. Depending on how intelligent you are, you might not even care what anyone else thinks. But kindness would probably get you further as far as, favor with man.
I don't know. Kindness and broke don't really go together.
Just because you're intelligent don't mean you buddy either.
That's true too. Intelligent mean you're, but I just feel like
what you're known for. It's not really about what you actually have. It's just what people know you for.
Yeah.
What's your calling card? I think kindness will get you farther.
I mean, I guess Mother Teresa did go a long way in her life being kind. So
you keep taking out the maximum smart, maximum kindness.
if I'm going to be either or, I want to be the maximum of both. If I'm going to be intelligent, I want to be the maximum intelligent person. I want to make millions off of being intelligent. If I'm going to be kind, I want to be a deity at this point. Okay, I'm going to be known for my kindness. That's just how I see it.
All right, I'm going to check some of the chats on this. Cozy says she would do Freaky Friday. Vonell is good at video games, and I'll start a channel. It sounds like you're telling your husband he needs to start a channel. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
All
All
right,
right,
okay. Would you rather know when or how you're going to die? Neither is good. If I knew how, I probably would try to avoid it.
That's a trap right there.
And if I knew when, I probably try to avoid it too. I don't know how I could avoid that, but no, I think when would be depressing.
Unless you lived a good full life and you died of old age.
No.
Well, that's a risk.
But knowing when, because
I probably just choose neither.
no, neither is not good. I mean, either one is not a good choice. But knowing when, I think would be more stressful for me in my brain, because now I'd be counting the days. I'd be
All right, so
doing too much counting.
But I don't believe in any of this as far as like this being unavoidable and all that stuff. But let's just play in the game. You found out, oh, you want to die in a car accident? Would you just stop driving in cars
Probably.
the rest of your life?
Probably. There's other ways to get around.
But then now we're in a final destination issue. Now you're in a final destination where it's like,
I'll just walk everywhere. Better exercise for me. Ride a bike. You know.
Cozy said, "When I die," I think when knowing the how, you'll be trying too hard to avoid it. Even if the when was sooner than you thought, because you have no idea how it's coming. You could just kind of be like, okay, just live my life. You know, it is what it is.
Boo.
Very practical. Super King Zell said, I think when I will plan everything around it. You prepare. That's actually much more feasible. You get your life insurance right. You make sure your family taken care of.
And
it's
when
actually very responsible.
You have
I
a
didn't do
farewell
that.
party and stuff.
I mean, yeah. It's actually that's a responsible answer. When?
I don't
You can
know.
plan for everyone else for that.
Here's a good one. Would you rather give up social media
Yes.
or movies and TV forever?
Social media.
Yeah, social media for sure. I would get rid of social media right away. Definitely keep movies and TV because we have an infinite amount of Netflix and chill. Like, if you get rid of Netflix and chill, I mean, what are we doing? Like, that's like the ultimate thing.
Yeah, no, I would much rather get rid of social media. I'm very close to doing it right now. So.
And for me, I feel like because we come from a generation before social media was really a
we'd be
thing.
fine.
So we already know what that looks like, and we kind of want to get back to that.
Quieter your brain would be.
It much quieter.
I'm gonna live a
quieter.
social media free life.
Because think about social media, it's just a lot of the same thing over and over again.
But you always find it. I keep talking something new. But it's like at the end of the day, there's not that much more.
No, it's not.
It's not that much more.
So yeah, I would definitely get rid of social media before
100%.
before movies.
Super King Zell said the same thing.
Yeah. Would you rather always tell the truth or always be able to tell when someone is lying? I can already do that now.
Someone's lying. Because I don't know if I'm as good as I should be.
Really?
I think about our lives and how trusting I could be of people
Yeah, well.
sometimes.
True.
So I think I would need to be able to tell people I'm lying.
But just have me with you all the time. You'd be good.
That's not a good one because you could just decide to just tell the truth. You don't need to be compulsed. Like you can just decide.
Well, I think it's like.
Tell it. Why would anybody not want to be able to tell people I'm lying?
Well, I think there's some things like, you know, we talk like I think that you're a very detailed person. Sometimes when you tell stories, you tell like, and not that I be lying, but I leave out certain details sometimes based off of the audience I'm talking to. Because like people need to know all of it, but if you were like compelled to tell the truth, you would probably tell every detail.
Why would anybody ever choose that? Just choose to know when people are lying. I'm saying that's not a good either or is what I'm saying. The only right answer is knowing people are lying. Because you could still just be a truthful person.
Well, I'll tell you, there could be a lot of heartbroken people in the world.
If what?
If you knew when somebody was lying all the time. People lie more than they think.
I know. And I probably wouldn't even judge people that harshly for it, honestly. But at least I would know. I can handle myself accordingly.
I don't know.
Sometimes I might not even want to know the truth or whatever it is.
I don't know if we're mentally ready for that kind of power.
Super King Zell said, I'm always borderline as it is on social media. I have to make myself stay on it. Then he said, I would say when people are lying, it doesn't matter too much, though, because I don't default trust people anyway.
I think it's good to have a little.
Some people like ignorance. I can be on the side of being like, it's good not to know things. But if those are my two choices, I'm definitely choosing knowing people are lying.
Yeah, it might come in handy.
That's for sure.
All right. Would you rather never be able to celebrate your birthday again or have to throw a big party every year? What kind of question is that?
For your birthday?
I guess, yeah, for your birthday.
Have to throw a big party every year. Do I got to pay for this party?
I mean, what's wrong with having a party every year?
I think there's nothing wrong with it. Some people don't want big parties. I'm probably a person who would not want. I'm not like adverse to it, but if I got to plan it and spend it and I don't feel like doing it, that could get annoying. It might be easier to just not celebrate it. I don't know.
Well, first we got to find the definition of big. What do you mean by big?
Whatever big in your head. In my head, it would be like this big thing. I got to invite people. It's got to be located someplace. It's music and games and like whole production, like the stuff you would do for JJ. Like to me, I'd have to do that for myself. I had to plan it for myself. I probably would not want to do that every year. With infinite resources, maybe.
Oh, I throw a party every year for me. You know me.
Now I would throw it for other people, but for me,
Okay, next one. Would you rather have more time or more energy? More energy. More energy, babe.
Yeah, that's probably the right answer.
More energy. You don't need more time.
I always say I like a couple broadcasts ago. I think I said I want more time, but more energy might be the smarter.
I love watching my son and the energy that he has. I wish that I could just go infinite amount of hours, just fire it up all the time.
I don't need more time. That gets into the toil mindset. Energy would be cool.
More energy. Just more energy.
Cody said more time. Zell said more time.
Wow, more time.
I was. If you asked me a week ago, I probably would have said
I think
more
having
time.
more energy just feels good. To have more energy. Because you'll feel more motivated to do things, I feel like, if you have more energy.
Some people may feel like they're okay on energy.
Oh, maybe. I could use more energy. Would you rather have unlimited knowledge or unlimited creativity? I think I'll choose creativity.
You got to define limited creativity.
You said more time.
More
More
More time equals more time with them kids too.
Wow. Wow.
Zell says not in a day. He wants more time, like in life, if that makes sense. Yeah, like extend it. Like if you're going to live 150 years, you rather live 250 years. That's what he's saying there. But here's the thing: I've never been huge on needing to extend life out that long for myself. I've never been big on that. I feel like if I can just get one vision done, I'm good.
I know.
I can go.
I'm the only one keeping you here, babe.
Zell said unlimited knowledge. I have enough creativity.
Wow. Okay.
I think I trend toward knowledge because I really don't even know what limited creativity means.
You don't know what creativity means.
And limited creativity. Like, are we saying I can do anything creative? Like I can suddenly draw now? Like is that's a skill? It's not necessarily just creativity. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like I could put a better grasp on limited knowledge because then it's like I'll just know anything. So that could be useful. Because all the skills I do have, if I had unlimited knowledge about those skills, that'd be better.
I don't know. I mean, being creative. I mean, I guess when I see unlimited creativity, it's almost like a Disney movie. Like somebody come to a room and can just see how to make something grand. You know, I can take this little bit and I can make it something because my creativity is just so. But then you still gotta have some kind of knowledge because them mice had to know how to sew to make Cinderella's dress. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have some skills. So I don't know. You probably need a little bit of both.
Chloe said more creativity. I think I'm seeing here the creative people are saying more creativity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I admire people that's creative. Like, man, it's just something.
You do. I admire them to an extent, but then when I realized that a lot of creatives are kind of broke, because then it's like, okay, you know.
Because they don't have the knowledge to do it. So that's why you marry a knowledgeable person. You can be creative. I'm a creative, and I marry a knowledgeable person. That's how we work well together.
Okay, so you get the limited creativity, I get the limited knowledge, we work together.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
We boss, man.
Do that.
For sure. Okay. Okay, would you rather have the ability to hit pause or rewind on your life?
Pause would be useful. That would give me the more time.
But pause as in everything else stands still?
Yeah.
And you're still moving?
That'd be the only reason it would be of any use.
When I was younger, I would have chosen rewind. But I realize now that wouldn't have been a good idea. Okay.
Yeah. Well, at this point, there's a certain point where you know, I forget rewind.
Yeah, I'm not rewinding. At this point in my life, I'm not rewinding anything.
Ain't no point. Cozy said, wow, Jalen, we not broke. Because you got some knowledge. If you're a creative who's not broke, you got some knowledge. That's all.
But you know, but you know, starving artists, that's how it is.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Because a lot of times creators don't know how to monetize because they're just so in love with it and they just want to share it freely with the world, and that's why they get taken advantage of by managers. Coach said definitely rewind. Zell said I don't know what pause is doing. To me, pause has to be everything else pauses and it gives you more time to work on stuff or to think about how I want to respond to a situation or something like that. So I'd rather have that than rewind because you can stop yourself from making a bad decision if you could pause.
Yeah, pause would be interesting though.
Rewind would be too dangerous because you be trying to rewind too much, trying to get stuff just right.
Oh, you know, like you might miss it. You might miss the spot, and you rewind too far. You're like, that's not fun.
Your remote gets stuck like that.
I know, right? That wouldn't be fun at all. That would not be good. Wow. Okay. Would you rather never be able to show emotions or never be able to hide them? The control side of me would say never be able to show them. Because I wouldn't want to be the person that always crying all the time or always showing my anger or something, like not being in control of myself. But the opposite can be just as bad though.
I feel like not being able to show logistically is better for life and business. Like if you always have to show your emotions on your face and the way you feel, stuff like that could detrimentally get in the way of communication, relationships, business, all that stuff. You need to be able to control your emotions. Not being able to show them would probably be bad for like marriage, and connecting with someone, but you get more mileage on that for your business life. So I'd probably go with not being able to show them. It sucks, but I'd go with not being able to show them.
I don't think neither is a good option.
Neither one is good.
Neither one, but maybe I could monetize emotion, create a whole movement on being able to show emotion. To sell it, be free to show your emotions.
Oh, so it's the whole thing like we are those who don't hide our emotions anymore. We
yeah,
just show them free.
Yeah, be free.
You probably could, honestly, in this world, you could do that.
Yeah.
Get social media following on that. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you can monetize that.
All right, a couple more here.
Zell said not being able to hide them is dangerous for me. I'm not sure.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized elephants
Jeez.
or one elephant-sized duck?
Elephant-sized duck will eat you.
Well, ducks. Well, if they're
They can
threatened,
fly too.
yeah, that'd be kind of bad.
Imagine being hunted by an angry elephant-sized duck. That's like probably bigger than a pterodactyl right there. That's
But
crazy.
also imagine 100. What do you say?
Duck-sized elephants.
Duck-sized elephants.
Why do I gotta fight them? Are they mad at me?
Wait a minute, duck-sized elephants. I'm trying to picture
It's a little elephant.
a little elephant.
It's about the size of a duck and 100 of them. So you out the lake. Instead of 100 ducks, it's 100 elephants.
That would be scary.
It would.
I mean, because a
As
duck.
long as is their strength proportionate? Like they're not as strong as they were when they were elephant sized.
Well, no, of course not.
Well, not of course not, because that's the whole Ant-Man thing. You're still as strong as you were when you were bigger.
But I mean, if 100 little elephants attack me, I'll probably be overtaken by them.
So would you? If you say 100 ducks, probably. My hope with the elephants is that really, if an elephant was attacking you as a regular sized elephant, he would try to run you over.
Yeah.
Little elephant couldn't really run me over.
Yeah, but
I probably outrun them.
But if all of them gang up against you like ants, you just swarm.
I get that, but they don't have so much mobility, right? Like if 100 ducks were attacking me, they could all attack me with their bills. I don't know if ducks do that or not, but like by poking me, that could actually injure me, make me fall, and then they in my eyes, stuff like that. Can 100 elephants really knock me over? And again, I'm fighting them.
If they have tusk.
Damn, I forgot about the tusk. God. I forgot about the tusk. I don't know.
And can you imagine hearing that little sound?
Here's my thing. I feel like, that'd be nasty. But if I had like a edger, I could get rid of the elephants. I feel like that duck is gonna take me down. I've got nowhere to fight.
But listen, it's one big duck.
What weapon
Hold
are you
up.
going to use?
A tranquilizer. There's gun.
You need an elephant tranquilizer. You need a
Exactly.
You better not.
But also, don't forget though, it's still a bird. Now it may be elephant size, but it doesn't mean that it's elephant strong. 'Cause it's a duck, and ducks they're very.
It's got mass.
It has mass, but it may not have the weight either.
No. It does go. It's definitely going to have the weight. It's huge.
But ducks aren't heavy.
But it's now elephant size. It's heavy as something that big would be.
It's as big, not as heavy.
It's going to be that heavy.
Okay, but I mean, I'm sure it has wings, it can move and whatever.
Yes.
But it's still a bird. It's still pretty fragile. It's just big.
Fragile. What are you going to hit it with?
A gun. I would shoot it. I can see it. It's gone. And it's one. It's one of them. It's one. I feel like I can focus on the big one, shoot it, done.
I just feel like you can't miss. I feel with the elephants, I got a little room for error.
No, I think you're underestimating 100 elephants coming at you, duck size. Cause okay. Think of a duck is not. Yes, a duck. You can hold a duck in 2 hands, but think about that. This is a miniature elephant, 2-hand size. 100 of them coming at you. I think that's more taskful than one big giant duck.
So that's a chat.
Yeah.
All right. Cozy says 1 elephant-sized duck. If all you got to do is feed them some bread and
Exactly.
expanded box. Y'all be way more creative than me.
Creative.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, all my knowledge is getting in the way of
Yes,
creativity.
exactly. Exactly.
Zell said, well, I wonder how aggressive elephants are. I might go with the small elephants. Cody said elephants are way smart, so they will probably strategize on how to take me out. I don't think. But elephant, I agree with that. I don't think they're that aggressive, though.
No, but
Unless
they would take you out, though.
How strong?
They do.
Zell said, I think Casey sold me.
See?
Cody said, knee check the duck once it falls. We need to start dialing you. From now on, we're going to dial you in on the phone for these conversations. Cozy.
It's a knee check. But I'm talking about. I'm talking about the duck. The duck is more vulnerable. Even though it's big, it's more vulnerable.
I'm going to have to create some AI. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Peter's going to come for us.
Oh, gosh. Okay. That was the last one anyway. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
That's hilarious. Okay. Duck don't even have these.
That's the point.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the point.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Woo, one last time, y'all. Make sure y'all sign up for my 6-week singles, mastering your singles 6-week mentorship. It's $29. Today is the day. I go live with those that already signed up at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Meet me in the chat room via Zoom. So if you still want to get it,
going out today.
Links are going out today. So if you want to be part of that 6-week mentorship program, go ahead and sign up right now. Don't waste, because once 7 p.m. get here, it's clink, doors are closed. And you want to be a part of that if you want the next 6 weeks of your life to be amazing. These will be the best 6 weeks of your life. You're going to learn clarity, direction, and it's just going to be so amazing. And I'm going to be teaching you the very thing that God taught me in my single days. And yeah, it'll be a blessing to you. So check that out. Again, thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this podcast. If you want a free trial, a 30-day free trial of Audible, go to audibletrial.com/Jalen and Casey for your 30-day free trial today. Amen.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for watching this episode.
And watch out for giant ducks.
Of the Jalen and Casey Show. We love you guys. We will see you next time, which will be Wednesday.
Same time.
Bright and early.
Yep.
And stay tuned. Appreciate you guys. Love
Bye.
you. See you next time.